What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Drone Camps channel. Today I have the HOM Unicorn here. This is a super cool little 2-inch quad that can run 3 and 4S. Beginners, you guys can start out on 3S. If you're looking for something that's going to be fun for your DJI goggles to fly around indoors and outdoors, this one has really good cinema style capability. It can carry a small decased GoPro on here, so it also has DJI digital FPV on here for up to 700 milliwatts. You're really going to be cranking if you want to go way out there with this. You can also put crossfire on this flight controller, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in this review. So without further ado, let's go ahead and do some indoor flying. We'll do some outdoor flying, and we'll talk about the tune that's on here. The stock tune does need a tune, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Some of these quads shouldn't have jello, but this one does have some jello, so I'm going to show you that. But I think the big part of the jello today was that it was ultra windy, so these prop guards were kind of fighting the wind. And they are fairly thin prop guards, but today the wind maybe was just too much for this quad. So you're gonna see some going on in the video. So let's go ahead and do some indoor flying. Sorry guys, I'm shirtless, cover your eyes. But you're at my house and I'm chilling and flying my quad. So yeah, anyway, let's go out and do some flying. After that, we'll come back in. As always, I will stick this one on the bench. Here we go, guys. Enjoy the flights. All right, guys, another camps review. Let's go ahead and just get honest about the Unicorn. I mean, the name of this thing might have a whole bunch of reviewers going, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it's a Unicorn, oh my god. Yeah, so aside from the name, it seems like HOMFPV is sort of making something sort of in the similar realm as something as a competitor to like beta FPV type quads. So here it is. It is seemingly very nicely put together. The prop guard survived some concrete tumbles. So right away, I think the durability is pretty decent on here, because a couple times when I walked up to this, I thought it might be broken. And in similar instances with other frames out there, that was the case. Now, however, before I really get started in this review, guys, it's your responsibility whenever you get a brand new quad, bind and fly, PNP, whatever, from China, as an RC, in quotation, modeler. I've been doing this for years, since I was flying RC airplanes as a kid, but you have to take a driver or some type of tool and go all over your quad. Make sure that things are Loctited, especially on your motor connections. You'll notice here that I'm missing a screw on each part of the carbon frame. So, you know, I've got some wobble going on here right at the edge where these screws are missing. So maybe that tiny bit of wobble right here translated to the jello that you saw in the flight videos. I didn't know these screws were missing until about my third flight. So you see it's sort of flexing a little bit here. But it did not stop me from flying, because there are 4 other bolts holding this bottom plate on, thank God. Otherwise, we might lose this unibody frame. The motors just fly right off the bottom plate. So battery being a dangler all of a sudden, which would not be good. We do have an XT30 up front, which is cool. We've got sort of a forward mounted battery cable. We've got capacitor right up front, which I think is kind of a weird spot for the capacitor. Really, I feel like this should all be in the back, because for your frontal impacts, you don't really want this thing hanging off the front right here. So maybe a little criticism there, but it looks like they have things reversed around because they didn't want the USB port riding up front. So that kind of makes sense, but from an engineering standpoint, it would be nice to have that USB port on the side over here. But you do have some boards, some PCBs sticking out right here, and there's a button right here, I believe. I don't even know what the hell that's for. What is that for, you guys? You guys know what that button's for? I mean, I've seen a lot of buttons in my days, and I'm not, maybe that's the boot button. That's what it is. All right, I'm back to reality now. We have another chip here as well on this side sticking out. So some possible places that you might want to watch out for when you're flying this one. If this chip gets knocked off right here, you're in a bad way. So nice that this bottom plate is fairly light. Not nice that it doesn't seem that things were not Loctited here. So I'd like to see that is a possibility. So I would recommend, if you buy the Unicorn, make sure you just take these screws out with a little tiny screwdriver and put some Loctite on those. Tiny dab, and then screw them back in. You know, it's a possibility that maybe these bolts weren't quite long enough from the engineering standpoint, but I'm sure they were. And I have to say, probably one of my favorite parts of this entire quad, let's just go ahead and zoom me in real quick. Oh, no zoom. There we go. HOMFPV branded 1203 motors with those dual bells. I love these like 2-step bells they're doing recently. They did another motor called the chocolate motor. I don't know if you guys saw that, but it had this like wavy cutout CNC motor bell with 2-layer motor bell, which was really, that makes it really cool looking. So this has this little blue accent, and these are running in right at 5,000 kV. So yeah, they're doing some really nice motors. And what's fun about this quad, and this might be the pitfall of this quad for the amount of jello that you saw, it might be the 2036 props that are on here. So these have sort of quite a bit of flex to them. So my recommendation, if you bought a Unicorn, go and get some stiffer props. I think some stiffer props would really clean up a lot of this extra vibe. You know, and I've flown these props in the past and they've been very smooth, but usually we're flying these props on 1103 motors or 1102 motors. So they don't have quite as much torque as the 1103 series motors or the 1203 series motors. So these motors have quite a bit more torque than the 1103s. So just a step up, and that's making a difference in the tune. So yeah, and you can also get some pink props on there, which is cool, and switch these out. But my recommended prop is probably going to be the Avon, the Emax Avon prop. I'll try to put a link down below. You guys can try those out, and I think those props would probably be the perfect storm on this quad. It's going to give you a nice, rigid, stiff prop and not as much vibration through the frame. And you should be good there. We have our antenna coming out the back right there, and HOMFPV branded, which is cool. Got their little logo on the very top, and the canopy is pretty durable. It did take some scratches and scuffs, and I'll try to see if I can get that to focus for you guys so you can see it. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe I can zoom in just a little tiny bit, but you know, this one's going to take some damage. It has some scratches on here. You're going to eat up a ton of grass if you land in the grass here. You can see some grass inside the prop guards. And underneath this, we have the Caddx Vista with the Nebula V2 on there, so that's cool. You guys want to see that in a quad. You're always asking which version of the Nebula it is, because nobody wants the V1 Nebula because it's trash. But the batteries I flew on the bottom of this, bottom mount battery, was the 3S 450, did great, around 4.5 minutes, and the 4S 450 also by Tattoo. These are great batteries. So BG, if you're watching, send me some more of these. These are starting to get a little bit old, but they're still getting me some flights for you guys. So indoors on 3S was a lot of fun. It does great. The 1203 motors makes this quad way faster than some of the other micro brushless at this scale that I've flown. So it will go extremely fast indoors, and I feel like it has a great speed outdoors too. What do you guys think about that? I'll put some of that footage up now, and I was like cruising down the street with this little guy, and it's small enough and nimble enough, you know, you're not really gonna hurt somebody with this, but if you hit somebody with this, they'd probably be pissed. It does have quite a bit of weight to it, so for a neighborhood flyer, just watch people walking around or jogging or whatever. You want to make sure it's a good day to do that. Today it was like rainy outside, so there's not a lot of people out. But again, guys, look out for those screws. Go over this whole quad again. Even the bolts that are holding your props on, I've had props fly right off of quads in past tests. So today I also tested on 850 for you guys, and it didn't do so great on the 850. It's too heavy. It causes more washout and stuff, because the more weight you put on here, the more the flight controller is stressed out. So it's kind of fighting the wind and the extra weight on there. So the lighter the battery on this, the 450 size battery, is the jam on here. So makes it a lot more capable for freestyle. So cinema, yes, you can put an SMO 4K up here. You can put the Insta360 Go on there. It will carry a decased GoPro, so you can do cinema. You've got DJI on here, F4 flight controller, and I believe it's 10 amp ESCs with a burst of about 4 to 5 seconds, up to 20 amps. So yeah, so I guess the burst rate is maybe why we can fly 4S on here, but you know, they're recommended on all the literature to be able to fly this on 4S, and these motors can definitely handle it. But I'm wondering about the AIO with that 10 amp ESC configuration. So that's my concern. But in all the flying I did today, I was landing in fairly wet conditions, crashing, had all kinds of mulch up in here. All this held together, even though some of these chips are exposed and sticking out on the bottom here. Everything seemed to be just fine when I got this quad home, and no damage. So it is a fairly durable quad. And if you're going to pay $250 or more for something like this, you want it to be somewhat durable. You'll be able to get new prop guards and stuff for this quad, but hopefully when you when you make your order for one of these, you can get those. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the scale. And notice while I'm firing this up, notice the HOM strap that they sent me for my DJI goggles. See that gold bling on the side of there? 2021, you guys. It's pretty cool. Nice size strap as well. They sent me 2 different ones, but I like that one better because the other one was black. Just wanted to add a little bit of color to my stuff this year, so we're gonna go ahead and flatten this out. Let's get the unicorn all ready for the scale. Let's see what we get, you guys. Okay. It's always a challenge to get it on this tiny scale. So we're looking at 93.2 grams, like no battery. With the 3S battery, let's just go ahead and cram that in there. And we'll see what we get here. Well under 250 grams. So looking for a DJI Cruiser under 250 grams. This will do you. So this is 134.9 with a 3S 450, 135 on the dot. Cool. And what about the 450? So 4S 450, 4S 450 on the scale without the SMO 4K would add another 30 grams. So yeah, and a TPU mount. You still be well under 250 grams. So 145.2 grams with this battery. And again, I don't really recommend flying the 850. I think this one is just too heavy. I mean, I was happy as well flying this on my DJI controller because the DJI controller has great reception. I went around the house, and when you're running 700 milliwatt, and I didn't lose any video all the way around. You guys have seen me fly analog around the house, and it does not do well. I've also fail-safed XM Plus and especially the D8 style receivers. So yeah, the reception on this CADX is great. I love it. Great penetration, and the video is just tops. DJI stuff, the transmitter always does great for me. I mean, medium and long range. I also got an extra canopy in here. That's the extra goggle strap they sent me, the black one, which is cool. You always get a sweet sort of feels like a velvet bag that you can put your quad in. Very sexy. Very nice, very nice. So then we got another 3S 450 here, and I had 2 more in there that I flew, but also some extra 2036 props from Jim Fan. And again, guys, I'm not gonna recommend these. They're not super great for it. So you also get some stickers in here, which is cool. Put those on your toolbox, and an extra strap. So I got this larger style strap. If you want it to be a little bit lighter, you can go with that one. And that one will still hold up to about a 650 battery. You could also probably get away with a 3S 650 on there, because those ones that I showed you guys that are from, I believe they were from OMP Hobby. I'll try to put some of those links down below for that one. That's a great battery. Very small, much smaller than this All-Line 850. I mean, this thing is like so small. We also get user manual, which is cool. They show us the flight controller layout. If you're looking to put Crossfire on there, here are your directions for that, how to hook everything up. And the digital VTX is already into this flight controller. So as far as the HD setup, all these wires are soldered down. So I don't see that there is a plug for it, but it is an HD version of a flight controller. So I imagine that there is a plug. You can see that's the target for it right here, Transtech F411 HD. So it may be a harness that's plugged straight from CADX into the flight controller. But the reason I know that it's all soldered up or plugged in is because, well, this transmitter bound right up and had no problems flying it with the DJI transmitter. So you can check out the link below for this one. And if you decide to get a Unicorn, I think it will be fairly durable for how light and how fast this little guy is. But again, watch your screws, guys. And thanks again for watching this one. And please do subscribe on the channel. I'm going to bring you more awesome videos coming up in 2021. Lots of new stuff coming out under 250G. Like 2021 seems to be like the year of under 250G. So here we go. HD under 250. It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Thanks again. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.